Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be making this simple off-shoulder top. Make sure to watch the drafting in the description box. So we're going to start with the cutting of this top. So in the drafting of this pattern, I had added 0.5 inch. At that moment, I wanted to use lining, but I've added 1 inch because we're going to fold in, making a total of 1.5. Then at the armhole, I added 0.5 inch. At the side seam, we maintain the 1 inch, and at the hemming. So this will stay just as it is. So my fabric is on fold, as you can see, and I have traced it out with my chalk. Then for the back piece, same thing. At the neckline, we're adding 1 inch, making a total of 1.5, and at the armhole 0.5. Then at the side and bottom, we're maintaining the same allowance we added on the paper. Then for the sleeve, at this part, we're going to add 1.5 inch. At the armhole area, which will be joining the armhole, we're adding the same 0.5 inch. Then we'll also maintain the allowance at the side and at the bottom. Then here are my pieces. They are all on fold. So I've cut them out, and this is my front piece. So we're going to trace out the dart first. So I've just used my chalk to mark where the dart will be on the fabric. Then you can go ahead and just notch where your dart will be. Put a notch there. Then this notch will appear at both sides of the piece, of the front piece. Then the next thing we can do is trace out the dart. So the length of the dart, I'm going to put it here. Then I'll add in my 1 inch dart allowance, so 0.5, 0.5. Then I'll measure the length from the tip of the dart to the underbust. I'll measure that, it's about 3 inches. Then I'll put in the same dart allowance, dart intake I mean, so 0.5, 0.5. Then I'll join it to look the same way that it looks on paper. So this is how you can trace out your dart on the actual fabric. Then for my back piece, I'll do the same thing that I did to the front piece. So put the center of your dart there, trace it out, make a notch like this. Then measure the length of your dart and place it on the actual fabric. Then you can go ahead and put in 0.5, 0.5 for the dart, like this. And join the dart. Then put in your zipper allowance, like that. Then you can make a notch there. Then I'm going to slit open this part. Since this is the back piece, it has to be open. Just open it up to the end. Then here is my front piece, my back piece, which was on fold. I slit it open, as you can see. Then here are the two sleeves that I've also cut. Alright, so here are the two pieces, and as you can see, I traced in the dart at one side of the front piece, and I'm going to just put in my darts And this is how this is how it is supposed to look like. This is how it will look like. So I've put in my darts for the front piece. As you can see, they came out well. Then for the back piece, I also put in the dart and the other back piece. So we have put in the darts. The next thing that we can do is right sides facing each other. Right sides facing each other. Then we're going to join the side seams by 1 inch. Okay, so I did my joining and here's how it looks like. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to work on my sleeve. So I've hemmed my sleeve at the bottom. I folded it in by 0.5, then another 0.5. So now I'm going to join the sides by 1 inch like this. Even this other one, I'll do the same. So I've already joined the sleeves, the sleeve seams. Now place the seam of the on the sleeve, on the seam of the actual bodice pattern and pin them down. You notice that when you pin, the will match exact. So we're just joining the armhole, parts. And when you pin this, you've noticed that the armhole of the sleeve and of the bodies align very well. If you followed the formula that we had used well, okay, so they align perfectly. And this is how it will look like from the right side. Once they are joined, you have a sleeve which will look like this. Okay, then you have to do the same thing at the other side, and this is what it looks like after the sleeves are joined. So for that 1.5 inch I added on the neckline and at the sleeve, you're going to fold in 0.5 then 1 inch. That's the use of that 1.5 I had added, and you fold these even at the sleeve part and even at the back side of the bodies. And this gap that will remain at the back is what we're going to use to pass our elastic. And be patient with it, especially on the folding and sewing part. It could be a bit tricky, but just be patient with it. So I went ahead to fold in and also put in the elastic, but here is the elastic that I used. So I used 30 inches of the elastic. That was my shoulder round subtract 10 is what I used because I want a grip at the shoulder. You can subtract 5 inches from that also. Then for the bottom part, I went ahead to hem the bottom part first, then lastly placed the zip on it. So use a zipper that is sort of detachable, that can come out, because your waist cannot fit onto the bust area, so you need this to be open, especially with the darts that we are added.